Hey, it's Mr. Albert here, and we're still graphing lines, and I've got a practice problem here. 4x minus 2y equals 10, and we're supposed to graph it and find the x and y intercepts. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off working toward the y equals mx plus b form of this, which lets us graph it rather easily. That doesn't have to be your goal. But I want you to get into good practice of doing that. So 4x minus 2y equals 10. Probably what I need to do is get the y by itself, like a formula, so I can subtract 4x from both sides. So that gives me negative 2y equals negative 4x plus 10. And then I'm going to divide everything by that negative 2 to eventually get the y completely by itself. So in doing that, eventually my y equals mx plus b form will be y equals 2x minus 5, which I can go from there as saying there is a slope or an m of 2 over 1. Remember, that's a y over x, just to talk about the movement. And then there's a y-intercept of the b part, which is 0, negative 5. So I can use that to graph, and I will. So I'm going to come over to my graph, and I'm going to plot first the y-intercept, which is 0, negative 5 on the y-axis. Then I'm going to use the slope, which is 2 over 1. So it was 2, but I wrote it as a fraction. So that means from my point, I can go up 2 over 1. Okay. And that puts me at, looks like 1, negative 3. Just for fun, I'm going to go ahead and move that slope again since I know it's a line. Up 2 over 1. That will just help guide me into making the line a little bit straighter. It's not that easy to do on the writing tablet, but my line should look something like that. Now I'm also going to find the x and y intercepts, and I'm going to do the y-intercept a little bit different this time. I'm going to start with the doesn't really matter. Let's just start with the 4x minus 2y equals 10. I could do the slope-intercept form, but remember, to get the y-intercept we would let x equal 0. So in that case I would have 4 times 0 minus 2y equals 10. So 4 times 0 is 0. So basically that gives me y equals negative 5, which is the point 0, negative 5. Now that's the same as what I got from putting it in slope-intercept form. Okay, but just a variation of that, because when you get away from straight lines and you have different forms of equations, you might want to just kind of keep in mind that we are letting the x be 0 to stay on that y-axis. Now, to get the x-intercept, we let y equal 0. And we could go back to either form, but let's just work with the one we got. 4x minus 2, and we'll replace the y with 0, equals 10. So negative 2 times 0 is 0. So I got 4x equals 10. I'll divide by 4, so I get x equals 10 fourths or 5 halves, which will be the point 5 halves 0 as my x-intercept. And look at there, I got pretty lucky when I come up here that if I look at my point, remember 5 halves is 2.5, it looks like I hit it, or at least pretty close to it. So just kind of take your time, make sure you understand what you're doing and how it ends up in the right place on the graph.